One thing for sure, there will be no winners and there will be no losers. This is an all lose proposition. What the best you can hope for is to mitigate, just mitigate, meaning lessen impact to your children. That's it. Because there's going to be impact. You got two parents fighting over children, right?
Welcome to The Details with Allison Kahler, a space for real divorce stories and grounded conversations with experts, helping you find clarity and courage as you step into a future that may look different than you expected and better than you thought possible. My guest today is Mia Poppe. Mia is a matrimonial attorney based in New York, and today we're unpacking the topic of custody at issue. If you or someone you know is going through a high conflict divorce and kids are at the center of it, this episode is for you. Let's get into my conversation with Mia. Welcome to The Details, Mia.
Thank you for having me, Allison. I'm really thrilled to be here, literally.
Thrilled to have you. And today we're going to be talking about something we have not yet covered on The Details, which is custody. So to kick us off here, tell us what's most important about this topic to you.
So custody is a topic that not only is very important to me as a matrimonial attorney, it is the topic that consistently occupies the top one concern of all parents going through a divorce. So custody is the holy grail, and it's the holy grail in great ways, but it's also the holy grail in some not so great ways, is because it has the power to trigger us the most emotionally, which can also trigger us to maybe show parts of ourselves that we don't want to show.
Yeah. And so maybe start by just defining what custody is, because I think I've heard terms like physical custody and legal custody. What do we really mean when we're talking about custody in the context of divorce?
So in the context of the divorce, one of the threshold questions that professionals in the space talk about, and the professionals in the space, I mean the matrimonial attorneys and the judges, the threshold question almost always is custody at issue. And that question basically means, have these two parents, loving parents, have they on their own determined the future of their children? Or because of the animosity, are they divesting the most important decision of their lives into a third party? So when custody is at issue, parents have divested the decision of their kids' future into a third party's hands. When custody is not at issue, parents together have retained solely the decision making about the future of their kids. And by future, I mean where those children will live at, how often they'll go back and forth between the parents, and also major decision making. So are the parents keeping those decisions for themselves, meaning custody is not at issue, or have they vested those decisions into a third party?
So maybe we'll take each of those in turn. If the parents can come to their own agreement, what are some of the options or choices that they're making if they have not divested that decision?
So they are making, and let me, if I can, I just want to segue a little bit, right? So in the context that I work in, what is the absolute truth is, if you have two really emotionally intelligent parents, both people high EQ, and I've done this, Allison, for going on 19 years. If you have two high EQ people, and none of them, in zodiacs, we go, oh, you have a Leo rising, a Libra rising, and neither of them have narcissistic risings. Custody, 100% of the time, is going to come to us resolved by those parents.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you get two emotionally intelligent, non-narcissistic parents, and there is no consideration. They are not going to have a third party judge who doesn't know their children's names
Yeah.
partaking in the decision. And that is across the board. So the reality is, whenever you have custody at issue, you have at least one broken egg in this
Yeah.
union. At least one.
What do you tell your client who maybe has the emotional IQ and is terrified about what's going to happen to their kids? How do you get them emotionally and mentally prepared for what they're about to go through?
So, like this question is really easy for me because when I had myself to go through a custody litigation, this is what I was led to, and this is the magic answer, as simple as it may sound or as difficult as it may sound. Like what I tell my clients is, listen, one thing for sure, there will be no winners and there will be no losers. This is an all lose proposition.
Mm.
What the best you can hope for is to mitigate, just mitigate, meaning lessen impact to your children. That's it. Because there's
Yeah.
going to be impact. You got two parents fighting over children, right? What can you hope for is to mitigate impact, right?
Yeah.
That's about all that you can hope for. Now, what do I tell them that they need to do? I go, it's incumbent upon you to begin working on detachment.
Mm.
You have to work every day at detaching from the outcome, detaching from what the judge orders, detaching from what the judge says, and mostly detaching from what your soon to be ex spouse says. You must detach from all outcomes and you must live in the reality of, I believe I retained the best lawyer for me,
Hmm.
and I am showing up, and I believe I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
So catch that, Allison. Do everything that you're supposed to be doing, and then you detach from the other guy. Who's the other guy in this situation? Your soon to be ex-spouse, the judge, and the divorce process itself.
Yeah.
And that is an everyday work. That is not a singular act.
Absolutely.
It's a everyday conscious choice while you are in the divorce process. Detachment is the answer. I am certain of it. This is what I practice, and this is also what I
Yeah.
experienced.
And I want to get into your experience in a little bit because I think that will add so much richness here. But beyond the mindset, beyond keeping that detachment front of mind, what can someone do sort of strategically, pragmatically to develop the best case so that they can get the best outcome on the other side of this hearing or the judge's decision?
There is a little toolbox of things that I always tell my clients to do when we are in the unfortunate situation of custody being at issue. And so one of the things I tell them is to keep a detailed parenting time journal.
Hmm.
We journal parenting time, we journal how the kids came back feeling, we journal everything. We keep, and there's a little bit of catharticness in
Yeah.
journaling it at all. But we journal parenting time. We also use something like an Excel spreadsheet to keep account of lates, no shows, right? We keep record of all of that. And then without alarming third parties, and this is a big deal, don't traumatize your children's pediatrician and your children's teachers with your divorce process.
Mm.
Do not do that. I just think it's a very wrongful burden to put on teachers, right? And parents do it all the time, right? They want to tell the teacher about the divorce and then they want to say something innocuously innocent about the other spouse, like, oh, whenever, Amy comes back from her dad, she's exhausted. Is she exhausted at school on his, like,
Yeah.
just, I understand the temptation to do that because we are
Yeah.
all trying to get people on our side, right? That's natural,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Please don't do that. But at the same time, slowly try to ease some of the conversations with teachers and pediatricians over to text message,
Yeah.
right? So just try to do that. And how do you do that, right? At the end of each Friday, you might want to send an email to the teachers. Hey, I'm just doing, a check-in on Johnny. How did his week go? But you want to do that every week. You don't want to do it just when the other parent had them. And that doing something like that gets the teachers on the email kind of system, because that's what you want. You want, if there's any issues, you want them to be already in the habit of emailing those issues, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with your children's pediatrician. You want to ease them on to the email system. But I want to underscore, Allison, do not traumatize these third parties who
Yeah.
just really want to help your child. They want to help your child develop like they want to
Yeah.
help all the other kids. Do not traumatize them with your divorce process. But records, like I when my clients are telling me something, oh, Mia, this happened, I pause them and I go, first of all, just confirm to me that this is in your parenting time journal. And they go,
Yeah.
yeah. I go, okay, great.
So it sounds like there's a fine balance here, but documentation and record keeping, just so that you can have that as evidence for lack of a better word.
Because I'm a lawyer, I got to say this.
Yeah.
Documentation directed by your attorney and for your attorney's use. Because, Allison, if you're going through a divorce and you are keeping a journal, your journal is discoverable. They can demand your journal.
Say more about this, because I think this is a really important point.
So when you're going through a divorce, discovery is liberal and discovery is compulsory, meaning you have to disclose stuff. And the other side can demand all of your journals.
Yeah.
They can, in a deposition, they can say, Allison, have you been keeping notes during this divorce? And you want to show how studious you are. You go, yes, I've been keeping notes. And they go, great, please turn them all over. Right? But if your attorney directs you for their purposes to keep a parenting time journal, parenting time Excel sheet for your attorney, for your attorney's use, then it's covered by my privilege.
Yeah. So they would not have to turn over the things that you directed.
That exactly. Work product for my usage.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think this is so interesting, because you gave not only the toolkit of what you want clients to do, but also what not to do. So can you tell us a little bit about, like, what are some of the watch outs, especially through that lens of discoverability? Because I've done podcast episodes here where I do it's like my Dear Diary series, where it's stuff that I was writing during my divorce. And fortunately, my divorce was not high conflict or contentious. And so there was never anything like that. But what you're telling me is that my ex-husband's attorney could have requested my journal entries as evidence.
Absolutely. In the context of a deposition or discovery demand.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's discoverable. And listen, we all have different levels of conflict. And so another thing to don't do, and with intentionality and because of purpose, I break this rule all the time, but you have to guard social media. You have to watch your social media, because if you have like a really crazy ex, they are using some sort of tool that basically watches you on all social media. And I don't know if they get an alert, a flag, or whatever. Be very purposeful and intentional about your social media, and maybe just limit it. Yeah. I don't limit mine because of what I do professionally. It's my firm belief that I'm helpful to people, right? And so I'm not motivated to avoid doing podcasts and avoid to post content about the divorce process, because I believe it's helpful.
Yeah.
But if that's not you, like if you're a layperson and you don't really have any personal skin in the game, and not that they're going to really have anything against you, but these things can also be used to distract the judge.
Yeah.
Right? All of these things that don't matter, they have no relevance. And so maybe just avoid it. So that's one thing. Now I have a second thing that's a scary story, and the scariest story that I've ever experienced is there was a woman who had a child. She was married, and the emotions after childbirth, like we're learning more and more about postpartum depression,
Right.
like it is real, period. Let me put a period after that. But this particular woman, marriage was falling apart. She's pregnant. She gives birth to the child, and it's a very acrimonious situation. And she is really, absolutely losing her mind. Like she's losing her mind because of the cocktail mix, postpartum, a husband who really is out to get you, really is out to get you,
Yeah.
right? The pressure of court, the pressure of custody. The husband in this case was a medical doctor, so she felt like he would have an edge in front of a judge for custody, but she was losing her mind, and she took to social media. And the stuff that she posted on social media, she came to believe. And when I say she came to believe, I'm not even implying that it wasn't true. I'm just saying that she came to believe because of certain things that were happening, that there was some definite foul play going on between her husband and her very, very young child. And at this point, the child is like two and a half. And she took pictures of what she thought was some misbehaving, and she posted them on social media, asking
God.
everybody to help her. So, just from the context I'm describing, what was posted, what did a judge see when they bought those postings in the court? A judge saw what kind of mother would post pictures of their child naked in a bathtub,
Yeah.
of their child naked on a bed getting dressed, right? Because she was losing her mind. And I got to tell you, this situation was very tough for me because I knew that there was a cocktail of circumstances
Yeah.
that had driven this woman crazy. And I also knew, because I'm an insider, Allison, that the courts are not able to accommodate that. Husband and his team bought in pictures. She posted to Facebook. End of story,
Yeah.
right? Pictures were of a naked child in a bathtub with the back of dad giving her a bath, right? And so, like, I knew the backstory, but our courts can't accommodate that. They can't accommodate you doing something that seems to a judge crazy.
Yeah.
And the explanation is like, this is postpartum depression coupled with a high overachiever, win at all costs surgeon husband,
Yeah.
because certain personalities become surgeons. It's just the reality, right?
So my guess is this did not end well for her.
It ended horrifically. And the
Oh,
warning
God.
message is social media is not your friend.
Yeah.
And if you're going through a divorce or custody, I'm just telling you, social media and two glasses of wine will
Yeah.
do you in. And that is a stern warning, Allison.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Just don't do it.
So there's obviously those types of situations where, as you said, there's a crazy cocktail of emotions and hormones going on. But how do you advise the more, I'll call it typical cases for individuals? It's like, what's the fine line between being careful and being super paranoid as you're going through this process, right? If anything can be discoverable, and I've heard things, I don't know if this is true, you can debunk the myth here, but I've heard things like chat GPT searches or WhatsApp messages or text messages with friends or Facebook group posts, like that any of that stuff can be discoverable. So how do you find the balance between having an outlet for emotional processing during this horrible time and being just totally like paranoid of doing anything at the same time?
Right. So first, let me just say the things that you just rattled through,
Yeah.
WhatsApp, yes, they are discoverable. Right. Now, some things are more easily discoverable than others.
Yeah.
Like, good luck ever trying to get iPhone iMessages. Good luck. through the
Yeah.
subpoena process or anything. Just good luck with that.
Yeah.
But the aforementioned in the state of New York, where I practice, those are not myths. Those things are discoverable.
Yeah.
Right. And so, listen, one of the conversations that I have with my clients who are actually going through custody litigation and avoiding the crazy. So, many years ago, I did a video and I threw out this term because this is something I was seeing in my practice, divorce psychosis. And so what I meant by divorce psychosis and how I define it, and my joke was it's not in the DSM-5, but it should be. And it is temporarily losing your mind temporarily due to the pressures of divorce and the pressures from the dynamics of an ill-intentioned spouse. And
Yeah.
what I mean by the ill-intentioned spouse is all of their intentions are bad. And Allison, without a doubt that somebody is trying to rip your heart out of your chest.
Yeah.
You know that, right? And that is a cocktail for you losing your mind. So what I say to my clients is like, there is something, and it's a real phenomena called divorce psychosis.
Yeah.
And what I'm telling you is like, just listen to your divorce attorney, me, and if you have a good divorce attorney, they're going to say things like, Allison, I hear what your concern is, but that's just not probable, right? Right. Nice way of saying, Allison, it's a crazy thought. That's never going to happen. Right.
Yeah.
And also, it's important to have friends in your ear to talk you off the cliff. Divorce psychosis is like standing on the cliff and you're getting ready to jump. Now, jumping is crazy, but that's what you're getting ready to do because of the temporary, like pressure boiler situations.
Yeah.
And I want to normalize this, Allison, and I want people to know divorce psychosis is very, very real. You lose your mind,
Yeah.
but it's very temporary. It is temporal.
Yeah.
And it comes in waves in the divorce process, right? So don't respond to the wave. And what outlets do you use? Like, you got to have a tribe,
Yeah.
right? You got to have a tribe, and you got to have a tribe that validates you. You can't have a tribe that's always against you. No, Allison, you're just crazy. No, 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 no. We all need support, right? So you
Yeah.
got to have that right tribe. And who's that right tribe? It's the person who supports you, and it's the person who says, Allison, I'm just telling you, you cannot do that. Step back,
Yeah.
right? You got to have that. You just must. And if you don't have a tribe, and many people don't have a tribe, and I'm going to tell you why. Because frequently, especially if you're in a narcissistic relationship, a part of that dynamic is sequestering you from others. So over years, they've gotten you to alienate your tribe.
100%.
Like that, and that is a reality, Allison.
Yeah.
So it is true that some great, fabulous people don't have tribes because over time, their little narcissistic spouse has alienated them from people, kept them in this little secluded, make-believe paradise world that the narcissists create, because that's what they do. They create this world, and you find yourself without a tribe. So if you don't have a tribe, what do? Number one, you reach back into your contacts, that person from college, that person from graduate school, that person from your last neighborhood, and you say, hey, Allison, I was just thinking about you. I know it's been years since we spoke, but I would really, really like to reconnect. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Also, get a therapist. That's a part of your tribe. A therapist is your tribe, right?
Yeah.
Or as I did in my case, I retained a grief and transition coach, and I retained a meditation coach. That became a part of my tribe.
Yeah.
Right? So if you don't have the tribe, you hire the tribe. But you can't do this process, especially once it's gone adversarial, without a tribe, because divorce psychosis is real and you need your tribe to pull you back.
This is so important. And there's kind of two people that I'm thinking about as you speak about this. One is the person that's experiencing this firsthand. And I just think what you're sharing is so powerful, especially if they've been cut off and isolated from their tribe for so long. And just to normalize, it's like, you are not crazy. It feels crazy right now, but this moment will pass. And like, just to normalize this, I think is so important. So I'm so glad you're sharing this with our listeners today. The second, though, that comes to mind is for the friends of these individuals. Like, I hope those people hear this episode too, because I think when you are a friend on the outside and you see this, like, whoa, just going a little nuts. I might need to distance myself from them right now. It's like, no, this person needs you more than ever right now. And I hear some of these stories sometimes, and from the outside in, the behavior can look quote unquote crazy, right? But the last thing this person needs when they're going through something like this is somebody labeling them or distancing themselves. They need you more than ever. So powerful.
It's the last thing. And just when you said, when you were recapping and you said, don't distance yourself, they need you more than ever. Like, I literally got goosebumps because
Yeah.
Allison, so much truth in that. And also, friends, not only do they need you more than ever, really understand that if they haven't spoken to you in 7 years,
Yeah.
believe me, that was done purposefully. They had somebody in their lives that was closing the door on all relationships,
Mm.
right? That was done with intention. So please butt in. And by butting in, it's important for us all to take those truth pills and say to our person going through it, listen, Allison, you look a little pale. You don't look like your vibrant self.
Yeah.
If there's anything you need to talk about, like, just please know I'm here for you. And I'm a great sounding board. Like, please reach out to them, because when people haven't been in contact with you for 7 years, Allison, they feel a little bit of shame and guilt. They don't want to
Yeah.
reconnect.
Yeah.
Please
100%.
help them out. Please help them out.
Yeah.
Please.
So we've covered a little bit of the toolkit of what to do and all the documentation guided by your attorney. We've talked about the things not to do and to be mindful of. I'm curious about when custody is at issue, and it can feel, as you said, the most emotional element of a divorce settlement or a divorce agreement. How does that play into the broader negotiation strategy or all of the other elements that get factored into a divorce agreement?
Oh, okay. Now, this is one that's near and dear to my heart because as a practicing lawyer, right, I'm a mom. And so one of the things that I always push for, always, is I always say, let's do a partial settlement on all finances.
Mm.
I want finances removed from custody
Mm.
because it is not painful. It is nauseating to me
Yeah.
when people use children and time with children for leverage with money. Okay, so that's my one pet peeve
Yeah.
as a matrimonial attorney, right? And of course, I immediately recognize it. I see it immediately. This is what I do. So, I literally can use the strong word hate. I hate when parents leverage custody, decision making, and access with money. Oh, well, listen, if you give me this, or if you waive your interest in that,
Hmm.
then, oh, so, I always try to do partial stipulation on all finances. I don't like to discuss children and finances in one agreement.
So you do the partial finance one first and then the custody? Is that the order?
That's generally the order, and that's the
Okay.
order when custody is at issue.
Yeah.
If custody is not at issue,
Hmm.
I got two good high EQ people, then I'm going to get custody off the table immediately.
Yeah.
I'm going to say to the lawyer, according to my client, custody is not an issue. I want to go ahead and draft a partial stipulation resolving custody and access.
Yeah.
Bam, right? And then we'll hash out money. I like to bifurcate the two.
Yeah. So how has this personal experience that you've had with your own divorces shaped the work that you do with your clients now on the other side? What has that given you?
Oh, well, it's definitely affected my in-office dynamic
Yeah.
because my paralegals, everybody that works with me, they get bludgeoned with anytime anything goes slightly left, or anytime that somebody wants to complain about a client, I'm 10 toes down. You need to pause and you really need to think about how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Even though you and I know they're not going to lose their children, it is their real belief. And is it asking too much for us to walk with them until they can walk out of that belief? Like, it's when I say the ability to empathize, when clients, and sometimes clients can be clients and they can complain and they can fault find. And I can tell you, Allison, because I've been through the process, if a client complains to me about anything about me or my office, like they got all my ears.
Yeah.
They got all my ears, right? And if they say they don't like the way something, went, I am like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how this could have been crafted differently. Like, I am so over the top on client advocacy and
Yeah.
client support. And as I tell my staff, no, 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 this client's right, right? We're just not correctly interpreting the message she's trying to send because she's emotional when she's sending it. But
Yeah.
believe me, there is a pertinent message that's coming from her gut. We're just missing the message because we're distracted by the emotion. And I really believe that, Allison. Allison,
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe in people's gut. I believe in intuition. And I do believe that the emotional aspect of divorce is acts as a barrier and a hindrance to clients being able to, in a articulate, sophisticated fashion, articulate.
Yeah.
Right? And I do
Yeah.
believe we're missing their message. Listen a little better. So that's how it's changed me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back to the earlier conversation about building your tribe, and if you like, you need to hire some of your tribe, but your clients are so lucky to have that kind of advocacy. So it's amazing to hear. As we wrap up today's conversation, and as you think about the listener who might be starting to get into this process and just terrified, right, of having custody at issue in their divorce, what do you hope sticks with them from our conversation today?
Allison, I love that question. And I anticipated that question because we met. And I never read from a script, but this is so important and I don't want to miss one piece of it. So I wrote something for those listeners and I want
Great.
to just quickly read it.
Great.
Divorce really is the battle in your mind because when you're going through that divorce process, all the times you felt betrayed, cheated on, lied to, all of those emotions come up. Every negative emotion that you felt that you believe you gave up for the marriage, it comes up. So, with that coming up of emotions, first of all, I want to say, let those emotions come up. Okay? Acknowledge them. Acknowledge those emotions. Accept those emotions for what they are. Now, this is the hard part. My meditation coach taught me that. Thank those emotions. And we need to thank those emotions because we're still feelers, right? If you're not able to feel, you're a psychopath, right?
Yeah.
Right? So thank those emotions because we're feeling them. But then the next step is, and my meditation coach taught me this, if the emotion does not serve you, and most emotions that come up in the divorce process, they don't serve us. They keep us mad. They keep us
Yeah.
feeling betrayed. Acknowledge them, be thankful for them, and then release them. I'm just telling you, and I want everybody to know, Allison, that when you're going through the divorce process, these very real emotions, they do not serve. Rather, they undermine your whole walk through the divorce process, right? So I'm not saying don't have emotions. I'm saying let them come up,
Yeah.
feel them, feel that feeling, acknowledge them, thank them, and then there must be a releasing. If you stay mad, you're going to be very unsuccessful in the process and after the process. If you stay hurt, you're going to be very unsuccessful in the process and after the process. The releasing is the key to successfully navigating the end-to-end divorce process.
Yeah. So beautifully put. And I hope listeners will listen to this on repeat, because I know that what you're saying is so hard to do, right? Just
So
acknowledge
hard.
it. Like, it's so hard.
So hard.
And yet so important. And so I just come back to that point of building your tribe, whether that's the friends and family in your life or professionals like yourself. Just surround yourself with people who care about you, even if your ex-partner has pushed them away from you for so long. So thank you so much for being with us today, Mia. This was an amazing conversation, and I think it's going to help so many listeners.
And I want to say thank you for having me, but I also want to say thank you for everybody who might be listening, for you acknowledging that releasing is hard, hard, hard work. So thank you for saying that to your listeners.
Yeah. Well, Mia, if people want to work with you, where can they find you?
You can find me at miapoppe.com, which is my website. You can find me on social media, and you can listen to my videos where I talk about a lot of these topics at miapoppe.esq.
Amazing. Well, thank you for being with us, Mia. We'll put all of those links in the show notes, and it was great to have you on The Details.
Thank you so much for having me on The Details.
Thanks for listening to my conversation with Mia. Today's episode is one that you hope nobody ever really needs, but if they do, you want this type of resource to exist. If you are going through a high conflict divorce with kids right now, I hope you really take to heart Mia's parting words. And if you know someone who's going through a divorce like this, please be sure to share this episode. I know it will really help. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next week on The Details.